Okay, we are live now. Saad, thanks for
Hello.
joining. How are you doing, man?
I'm very good, Yasin. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Saad, I think we both have been working at Cisco for almost like 7 years, 6 years, I guess.
6, 7 years for me as well. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
In this role, 6, 7 years, but yeah, before that, I will another 4 years. On before the sales role. So yeah, I was doing some other stuff at Cisco, not the sales. Yeah, time flies, huh? I remember when you joined Cisco. Um,
it was back in 2017 actually when we were acquired by Cisco. So I was in Broadserve, right? So in 2017, Cisco acquired us, and since then, it's like this is my 8th year at Cisco.
yeah, time flies. Yeah, you don't realize.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's see if people can join our chat as well. And please, folks, if you are watching us, ask any questions or put comments. Saad and I will be able to answer those questions. So, Saad, tell us about your career beginning. Right? I think we both came from Amity University in Karachi. I
Right.
think you were senior than myself, but
Yeah.
we had different journeys, right? So I went to UK first, did my masters, and then moved to Canada. But you came directly to Canada, right, from Pakistan?
Yeah, so I finished my graduation. I did electrical engineering, and the first thing I did after finishing my graduation was I heard about this thing that Cisco is a company, and they do great. Their certifications are very um, they're very relevant, right? So for anybody starting into the field, so I started studying for CCNA. So that was my first experience with networking, right? Because I came from electrical engineering background, as you know, that focuses more on electronics and telecom, but not so much on the networking side, right? So yeah, so I mean, I came to Canada right after that, and I did small amount of work in Pakistan, but nothing. Yeah, I think only worked there for a few months, and then came to Canada, did my CCNA there, and haven't looked back and stayed in the networking field since then. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's been a journey, it's been a ride.
Yeah, and I think you work in different companies before joining Cisco, right? I think I remember you were in NTT and then before Allstream, right?
So my first job in Canada uh, was in a company called Intersys, very small company. We were gold partners, and then that company got later on bought by Bell, right? So we became part of Bell, but I left Bell soon after. I joined Allstream, then came to Dimension Data, which later on became NTT. Then I started my own thing. Did contracting for a couple of years, and then since then I think it's been now 12 years in Cisco, right? Doing different roles. Did some certification at Cisco, CCNA, CCNP, CCIE, and so I'm a multiple CCIE, so highly technical. I used to be highly technical. um, the person on the keyboard, doing the configurations, late nights, cutovers, all that sort of thing. Yeah, so I don't know how I did that. I don't think I'll be able to do that anymore. uh,
You know what?
yeah.
When we look at when we look back on our journey career, it sometimes it doesn't look easier, but we just went through the flow, right? So tell us about your transition from a technical engineer into a sales engineer. Like this is a journey, and I've been coaching a lot of young engineers on LinkedIn that you should consider moving into sales because that changes everything. That changes your perspective of looking at the business. That changes your view of technology as a whole. So tell us about your journey. Like when you did the transition, what happened, and do you regret the decision at some point?
In one word, not at all. um, yeah, not at all. So I don't regret coming to sales. I think I should have made the transition earlier than I did. um, yeah, so I was always interested. Like I used to work with Cisco SEs, and I did not exactly know what they were doing. I know they were quite helpful, and if I had any question, they would respond to me. So that was my first experience with Cisco SEs, right? So then I got interested, and then this role came, and I applied, and I got the role. But yeah, I mean, I'm so happy with this because I think this is the best of the both worlds, right? So I still stay technical, but at the same time I don't need to be down to the level that I'm in the weeds, but I can have like a higher level conversation with the customer, make sure that the solution we are proposing to the customer fits their needs, and we are trying to solve some like real business challenges that the customer has, that they have, right? So I mean, so yeah, so in that sense, I really love this, and yeah, I don't want to make. I wish I had made the transition earlier on. And from here, where I am right now, I think now the doors are open. Like I can either go into like a proper kind of like a quota carrying person, like so even though I am that right now, but not like the percentage of my what should I say, of my uh,
Compensation.
compensation is
Yeah.
I think it's mostly on I'm on a fixed salary, but I think the compensation can change. So I think I'm yeah. So that's maybe something
Yeah,
that
let's talk about that because I think a lot of engineers that I speak to, they have this fear. Hey, if I move into sales, then I have to carry this quota, and if I don't meet it, my salary gets cut in half, and I may be on the edge of being laid off. And I had the same fear as well before I moved into sales. So tell us about that fear. How did you overcome that?
So I think when I came into the role, I did not have the fear. So yeah, so I did not have the fear. And looking back now, I think in all the years that I've been at Cisco, and I've been carrying a number, uh, I don't think. I think if you believe in the product that you're selling, I think that getting to the number is not hard, right?
Mhm.
So I think there's only like a couple of times when we were not able to reach 100%. We were pretty close, but most of the time, we actually are going beyond our number, right? So, but I think I passionately feel about Cisco because I feel the product is really good. So when I'm speaking to the customer, I think it really resonates with the customer that I'm so passionate about the products, because I feel that Cisco do uh, make the best networking products out there, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
devices we are using right now, I mean, it's such a seamless experience, right? It seemed like we're just sitting across the table from each other, even though I think you're probably 50 kilometers away from me, right? So
Yeah, that's a key thing, and I think a lot of people, they don't realize that you work in a team. Like, you're not just all alone yourself. You work with your team, and sometimes you have extended team members as well, which are not really on the street with you, but they are behind the scene as well, helping you out in terms of giving you tips and coaching and content and legal advice and all that stuff. So I think whoever is thinking about moving into sales, don't get don't be scared that you will be working alone. For most of the time, you have to actually manage your business alone because that's your responsibility. But then you are part of an active team. You have an account manager, you have other team members like specialists. Then you will have the product managers working behind the scene for your product that you're selling. And then of course you have commercial teams and legal team as well, helping you to basically draft the contract. So that's really what I have learned so far. And when you change from one company to another, that's also give you a different exposure. So I came from a smaller company into Cisco. So when we were at Broadsaw, it was a smaller setup. Then of course you only have like yourself and the account manager working together, right? Then you have to basically work hard and then make an impact. But when you move into a larger company like Cisco, you have an army of soldiers working with you, right? And you have different products and different businesses to work on, and then that basically compound each other, right? We complement each other, we compound each other efforts, and then this basically become like a snowball effect. So what about the reward side of things, right? A lot of people who miss this thing is, if you're an engineer sitting behind the screen running commands and running Wireshark traces, you don't see the potential of the rewards on multiple folds, because you only see the dark side of sales, but you don't see the lighter side of sales, which will actually give you much higher reward. And then of course a lot of different opportunities as you move into the world of sales. So tell us about your comparison in terms of what you were kind of making in terms of the money as an engineer versus when you move into sales.
so I think and Yasin, this is what I believe, and I think I saw that in the compensation as well. If you're on the top of your game, it doesn't matter what you do, pre-sales, post-sales, I think you can earn good money, right? But I think if you just take a step back and look at the salaries as a whole of salespeople versus technical folks, or maybe pre-sales engineers versus engineers who are post-sales, I think the compensation is higher on the pre-sales side, right? I think they're compensated better than the post-sales guys. And but again, like I said, I think the guys who are on top of their game, even on the post-sales side, I think they also make good money. But I think overall, I think average, I think pre-sales is probably um, better
Yeah.
compensated than sales for sure.
Yeah, I think there is an element of multiplier effect as well, right? Because when you overachieve your target, then the rate that you are getting compensated on, based upon the new business, will get even higher. So it will be a multiplier effect that will actually kick in, and then you get much more reward as you overachieve your quota and then bring more deals in. So I think that's the incentive to be in sales and be aggressive. You're don't just look at your target compensation, but also try to overachieve it. And when you do that, then of course your reward will become even multiple fold.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So if somebody in their early career watching this live session, what advice would you give them if they are still very hesitant about moving into sales? How would you basically give them like a quick coaching session in this video?
So one thing that I think when I came into this role, it is kind of unknown because I had thought that I spent so much of my life doing these certifications, which were very hard. Taking the time out from the family and doing all this, and then I thought maybe if I'm coming to pre-sale side of things, then I don't need these certifications. So all the hard work that I've done is going to go on waste, right? So that was one of the fear that I had in my head when I came in. Uh, I don't have. I mean, so when I came to this role, I realized that I was still using a lot of skills that I acquired. There was an instance where one of the customer was having some issue, and even though that was not part of my role, but I went on the WebEx call and I tried to resolve the issue right on, and that was all because of my knowledge that I had, that I brought in, and that gained a lot of. I gained a lot of points with the customer because customer realized that I can be more than just like a pre-sales engineer. I can actually get my hands dirty and can kind of help them out. So I think that kind of helped. So if anybody who's coming into if he's considering that, I think please do consider it seriously. If you don't like it, I mean, you can always go back to being technical, right? I was thinking that if I'm not gonna be technical anymore, maybe if I'm not like hands on the keyboard kind of technical, I'll forget a lot of things, which is incorrect. I mean, it's been 7 years and I still remember all the things. So your mind will remember, or your mind will keep those things. So don't worry about that. The other side is that if you really like sales, then you can actually become like an account manager, right? So that's another path that can open up if you really enjoy sales, right? So yeah, so I think you can be at a point where you can have like multiple directions you can go towards, right? So that's what I like about being in this role, that I can go in any path that I want. um,
Yeah, absolutely. I think what I realized was, when I made the transition, then I saw different avenues open for me. So I could be in the sales leadership, like in engineering sales leadership, or I can go into business development type of roles. I can go into a partner facing role where, you also need a commercial guy to manage partner relationship. You can also become like an account manager, who is basically the ultimate authority in terms of managing the account. Or if you really want a little bit different, then you can also go into the product management as well, because product management is also a combination of technical and commercial knowledge. So if you have both skills, like you understand technology, and then you also understand the commercial aspect of it, like you can basically help create different offers, you can help create different pricing proposals, then your skills will be automatically utilized in the product management group as well. So yeah, so this was my experience. When I made the transition, I saw a lot of different new doors open for me, which was not very clear when I was just working as an engineer behind the screen. So yeah, if one of you guys are watching this session and you are early in career and still doing a technical role, you should consider making a transition, because that will help you to kind of explore new opportunities, but also give you the reward that you might not be earning right now as a technical engineer.
Yeah, the exposure is so much more in pre-sales, right? The You always have to be on top of the game. You always have to know like what new is coming, because if you're not talking about the new product that's coming out, somebody, one of your competitors, is talking about that with the customer, right? So I feel, um, in my previous role, I was very focused on a single architecture, and what I was doing it really well. But that's all I knew. I did not know like the what was going outside of that architecture. But in this role, I think I have to exactly know like what's going on the security side, what's going on the campus side, data center, compute. Like, so I have to have like a very all-rounded personality, right? So even when I speak to my colleagues from back in the days, right? So I see that they're still focused on very specific technology, but they don't have the breadth of knowledge that the salespeople have. So that's also what I like about, you can talk about multiple things. Like Cisco keeps on coming with new products, and so are our competitors, and we have to know what's coming out. So yeah, so I mean, as a geek or as a techie who likes to learn new things, I think yeah, sales is there's also a lot of learning there as well. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And when it comes to kind of keeping yourself more up to date and more on the edge in terms of learning technology, how easy or difficult it is for you to kind of keep learning, because when you are covering a much wider portfolio that you do today within Cisco, then there's a lot of products, and each of those products have a lot of competitors in the market as well. So how do you see this as a challenge, and then you know keep at the top of it?
Right. No, it is a big challenge. There's no shortage of resources nowadays with LinkedIn Learning and so many different tools available, and even Cisco provides us so many different resources. The problem is time, right? So you have to do your daily job, but you also have to learn. The good thing is Cisco gives you time to learn, so that's a good thing. But still focusing yourself and coming to a room, just making sure that you're not checking any emails and not doing anything, and just focus on learning. That can be a challenge, but I mean, that's part of the job. That's something that we have to do. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it is a challenge. Yeah. um,
Yeah. The other thing I think we did not touch upon as part of the SE skill is the networking, right? Networking from a human standpoint,
mhm.
because that matters a lot. How much people in your industry, that makes a lot of difference, right? So
Right.
when you are an engineer, you're basically working in a cubicle. You don't need to know a lot of people because you can just get your job done and then go home. But when you are in a sales role, then you have to know people to build your
Right.
network, because your
Right.
network is going to help you to basically move deals forward. So how do you see that element of your role has grown since you moved into this sales engineering role, and how would you encourage or coach young engineers to kind of build that skill set?
Right. So I think, Yasin, that's a great question. And I know what you mean when technical folks, they're very uh, heads down on the keyboard working and not much networking. I think I'm here in this role because of networking. I think I knew people that knew I was interested in this role, and that kind of worked for me, right? But yeah, so I think it's a personality shift that happens, right? Before, I used to go to the office when I was not in this role. I used to go and just work and not network so much. But now I think so much of my problems are solved because of networking. If I see somebody and that person is working on specific product, and if one of my customers is having a problem with that product, rather than just opening a case and just going through the proper process, I can just ping that person directly, because I know that person. I met him in the cafeteria or somewhere, right? So yeah, so that comes, and that's very helpful, for
Yeah.
sure. Uh,
And on the customer side as well, right? Because if you spend, let's say, last 10 years in Ontario public sector, so a lot of people within that domain, right? So that helps you in terms of moving your opportunities forward, because someone, let's say in Grand River Hospital, or somebody in Sick Kids Hospital. So that will actually help you to build your reputation, and then of course move the business forward, right? So How do you see you establish this whole thing in your overall career?
Yeah, so I mean, the paths I've been working on. So I work in Ontario public sector, like you said, and I've been on the same healthcare path since I joined. And Yeah, I mean, we have so the customers know me. They know me by first name. Some of the folks, I'm just texting them all the time. They're texting me if they have any questions rather than just emailing. We're on that kind of terms where they're texting me. So I like that kind of relationship that I have with the customer, right? And I see that healthcare is like a very, even though you think about it and you think of Toronto, it seems like a big city, but it's like a very close knit community, right? So people move, even if they move within the healthcare. So um, one customer is moving from one hospital to another, they still are my customers. So it's now I kind of know the lay of the land, right? So that's always helpful. Um,
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think this is the key thing, because when you are in sales, you need to know people, and you need to know the right people who can influence the internal stakeholders, because that's where you really need your support internally within the account. And you can only do that when you start building the relationship, and it takes time, right? It cannot happen overnight. It takes time, so you have to work
yeah,
your way, and then spend time with them, and then build relationship, build your reputation, and at some point, they know who you are from your
right.
personality and also from your skill set perspective. And when you basically bring a problem to them, they can definitely help you out when it is needed. um, this
And
is
I think
exciting. Yeah, go on,
I was
Saad.
gonna say, yeah, there's going to be ups and downs, right? There's going to be ups and downs with the customer. Like, let's say they're having a challenge, so the relationship at that time probably is like this, but then it's up and down. You got to stay with the customer, and then when you stay with them, when the customer is down, then most likely they'll stay with you when when they're high. So yeah, so I think I like that kind of relationship, and I want to stay in the same patch. I love what I do, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that there are certain things which are not really positive per se as part of this role. One thing that I noticed, or I learned over time, is you cannot switch off your phone, or shut down your computer after 6 o'clock, right? Even when you're on holidays, you have to keep your phone active, because if something blows up, then the customer will actually contact you as a first point of contact,
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
will have to basically pick up a call and respond, right? So that's
Yeah.
something that it's very common in sales, that you cannot just turn off your computer and switch off your phone and then go in a non-connected life.
Yeah.
That thing doesn't exist in sales. I mean, some people can do it, but then you cannot avoid that kind of interaction when something blows up in the customer network.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. That's one of the things. I personally don't mind it so much. I mean, the good thing is now, even if I'm on a call with a customer and it's like a troubleshooting call, I'm not the one who's troubleshooting. So at least there's somebody else, like from Cisco TAC or the support team, that's helping out. I'm just there, just to show my support for the customer, right? But yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's one of the things. We have to be all the time on the phone, and all the time be accessible. Um,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think this was very interesting chat. Saad, thanks for spending time. Any last comment that you want to make before we wrap it up?
No, thank you so much for the opportunity, Yasin. I always love talking to you. I know this is our second session. The first one was being, I think, YouTube, but this is the
It
live.
was
So
back in
yeah,
2021. Yeah, it was 4 years
yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, thanks for the opportunity. I always love working with you and also talking to you. So yeah, please consider me for next time as well.
yeah, for sure. I think we can do this next time as well, and maybe then I can schedule the event in advance and create some interest among the people, and then if you're watching this session, please post some comments and questions, so we will be able to help you out on that. So until next time, thank you very much, Saad, and good luck with your continuous progression.
Thank you so much, Yasin. Take care. Take care,
Thank you.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.